Applications for the Enhanced Replant program can be found on the IAF client portal. If you have not already registered your organization, you will need to do so. If you have, you can simply log in and you'll be brought to this homepage. From here, you can find the application forms under the Funding Opportunities heading on the left-hand side menu. Scroll down to the stream you're wishing to apply for and select the green button on the right-hand side to start your application form. For the sake of this video, I already have a draft underway, so I will navigate down to Applications, Draft Applications heading in the menu on the left-hand side. To edit your application, click onto the application and select Edit on the right-hand side. The IAF client portal does not auto-save applications. As you're working through your application, we highly recommend you utilize the Save button at the bottom right-hand corner or the Save and Close button if you need to exit the application and come back to it at a later point in time. The first section of your application speaks to your organization information. This information pulls through from the organization that you have registered with the client portal. If anything does not look correct and you need to update it, please close your application and navigate towards your organization under Validated heading. From there, you will be able to edit and update any information required. Let's get back to the application form. Now that we know that the organization information is correct for this application, we can move on. The next question is the demographic information. To complete this question, you will need to click on the hyperlink in point 2, AF Demographic Data Collection Survey. This opens a new tab in your browser. To be able to complete this, you'll need to answer the questions including your organization's legal name and the application project ID. This can be found on your application in the client portal. If we navigate back here and we scroll to the top of the page, in the green heading you will see ID. I will highlight this here and copy. Navigating back to the survey, I can simply go into this question now and paste. You'll then scroll down the page and go through the questions. As you answer them, more questions will populate. This should only take 5 to 10 minutes to complete, depending on if you have your information readily available for your organization. Once completed, you will be provided with a confirmation ID number. Please make sure that you copy this confirmation ID number so that when you go back to the IAF client portal, you can paste it into this field here. For the sake of this demonstration, I will use one done earlier. Moving on, we get into program questions. This is where we can start to answer questions as they relate to the project we're looking to complete. For the sake of this example, I will start to answer some of these questions as they relate to this project. As you're going through these questions, some questions may require additional information, so new questions may populate. You can see this when I answer yes to the question, does your project take place across multiple locations? This next question, what is the total acreage of commercial perennial crops that you are currently growing for production, owned and leased, needs to be answered in a whole number. For example, if you're growing 22.2 acres, please round up your acreage to 23. For the sake of this project, I'm growing 54.1 acres. So to answer this question accurately, I need to input 55 acres. This next question speaks to a BC Agribusiness Finance and Marketing Plan. This was previously known as a business plan. If you have completed one in the last 5 years, you can select the answer yes and upload your plan to the document section at the end of the application form. If you have not, you will need to click through to the hyperlink within the question, which will open a new tab in your browser. We don't have a template for what a finance and marketing plan should look like. However, we do recommend that you work through this checklist to ensure that your plan includes all of these requirements. This document is not a required document for your application, but it does have a part in your scoring criteria, so is highly encouraged to include. When speaking to your environmental farm plan, if you are in the process of working towards renewing or applying for a new EFP, to be able to answer this middle question here, your request needs to already be submitted to IAF. If you are intending to do so in the near future, you will need to answer, I do not have an EFP. Again, as mentioned, some questions will require additional information. This can be seen with the question, are you currently enrolled in production insurance? Answering yes will populate an extra question where your policy ID can be populated. I'm going to continue to answer the questions on this application form as they apply to my project. Again, extra questions may populate depending on the extent and the scope of your project and what varieties you are planting. This question, will the replanted acreage generate a positive return at full production, can be supported by completing and uploading a budget contribution margin template. This can be found in this hyperlink in the text below this question. Clicking on this will download a Excel document to your device. On completing this document, some pre-calculated fields will total for you. This will help you answer exactly when you will get a positive return on the fields. This document also has two tabs, the first of which is a requirement, the second of which is completely optional, but again, should be able to help you find when that positive return will be available for you. Once completed, save the document and upload into the document section at the end of the application form. It's also important to note that it is a requirement for growers to know their marketing strategy and wine style prior to providing a funding application. You can refer to the ERP program guidelines if you need further assistance with this. Again, the hyperlink available in the application form here. The next question speaks to individual planting locations. To add a planting location, you need to select this green plus on the right-hand side. This will create a pop-out that can be filled. Each individual planting location needs to have one of these added to your application form. I will go through and complete this as it relates to my project. These next few questions on the planting location give you the opportunity to provide some extra context in regards to the methods that you're using and the planting density that speaks specifically to this planting location. This first question, if your planting density falls outside of the recommended range, please provide a justification in the below field. Details on the recommended planting density can be found in the program guidelines. The second question here, please describe any unique methods you're using for this planting, such as high density planting, growing in substrate, new harvesting techniques, or using tunnels or covers. Again, a blank field where you can provide an explanation on the unique methods being used, if applicable. If neither of these relate to this planting location or your project in general, you can leave them blank. The final section of the planting location is a document section. This allows you to add in the plant order, invoices or receipts for any associated one-time licensing or royalty fees, as well as a site map showing accurate locations for the farm for replanting, location of irrigation water sources, and road access to the field. A satellite image or a city web map with field areas outlined is preferred. To add these documents, again, clicking on the green plus in the right-hand side. From here, you can drag your files in or search your device to upload. Clicking Start Upload starts uploading the document into your application. Once you see the status of 100% and this blue tick, you can click the X and you should see it loading into your planting location. Clicking Save, once you've completed your planting location, adds the location to your application form. If at any point you need to adjust this, you can click this Edit button, the pop-up will come back up, and you can go in and adjust the planting location. If your project is occurring across multiple locations, you will need to add an individual planting location for every single location where replanting is occurring. Once you have finished adding in your planting locations, you can save and close your document or simply save, and you will see this total amount requested update to reflect the amount that you've added across all of your planting locations. We can see that $525 has now populated after I've saved the application form. Moving on, there are now 2 tick box attestation questions on the application form that need to be completed before you can submit your application form. The first being that I understand that as the owner or lessee, I am required to maintain the fields for at least 4 years after planting. Additionally, the second attestation, by submitting this application, you confirm that grapevines will be purchased from a CGCN certified nursery and meet CFIA approved international standards. Please refer to the program guide for approved domestic and international vine sources. The next section is the declaration and consent, which speaks to the terms and conditions of the funding agreement. Please read through these, and once you scroll down to the bottom, you will see there is an I agree attestation and a space to sign your name. The final section of the application form is the document section. Similar to the planting location section, to add documents, we're utilizing the green plus on the right-hand side, which creates the pop-up where again, we can drag and drop files or we can search our device by clicking Add Files. We can also change the type of file that this is so that it reflects accurately what we are adding. Clicking Start Upload again includes that upload onto the file. Once we see 100% and this blue tick, we can click out of the X and it will populate here for us. Required documents for this application form include a completed budget via the contribution margin template. Optional documents include a copy of detailed soil sample results, and confirmation of ownership and lease of the land, i.e. the land title or the BC assessment document, a finance and marketing plan, a water bill, water license, or water use license application for replant locations, whichever is applicable to your locations and application. Also a pollinator plan, if applicable. Once you have completed your application and added everything you need, you can select Save and Close. Once the submissions open for the application that you are applying to, a Submit button will populate to the left of the Discard button in the bottom right-hand corner. For Stream 2, Grape Replant, submissions open on the 2nd of December, which is when the Submit button will become available. Selecting the Submit button will send your application through to the IAF team for review and start the adjudication process. Thank you.